Another day, another Avowed story. This game right here, at one point in time, I might have been interested. It's not really an aesthetic that, it really drives me to a game, okay? It's from a studio that I haven't played their games before, but all things considered, I know a bunch of people are excited about this. I might not be the target demographic, but if it was going to be popular and the game was going to succeed, you're going to have to talk about it in one form or fashion. It was kind of like, hey, in this year specifically, you got Stellar Blade being exceptionally well received. Black Myth Wukong, cut from that cloth of Souls-likes, which, not really my jam when it comes to gaming, but hey, they were wildly successful, but also came with a fair amount of controversy. So, defending the monkey game or the boobs and butt game, it's just part and parcel. So yeah, if I don't like knockoff Skyrim, if I don't like dollar store Bethesda, it's like, it really doesn't much matter because other people do. And if they manage to crank out something good, hey man, maybe they could sway me to that side because I like the gameplay, at least the theory of the gameplay, because when I start to dig a little bit deeper into Avowed, yeah, I find out that this is a game that I would never play at all whatsoever because you got Obsidian here dealing with modern technology, okay? Trying to spin a narrative that is over a decade old at this point in time. 30 FPS is actually more cinematic, and that's what we're trying to aim for. I thought we were past this, okay? Going back to like the NES and the SNES, a lot of those games were 60 FPS. Like 30 FPS didn't become a thing until the terrible PlayStation 64 era. Actually, the N64 I think was still doing 60 FPS. I think Super Mario 64 is like 60 FPS. But yeah, when 3D and technology wasn't quite catching up with the ambitions of the developers, funny how things have so monumentally changed in a relatively short period of time. Now, because there has been very little innovation in the realm of gameplay, now they've got to try to bring in a bunch of different tactics and justify their own lack of innovation and simply just present it as, oh no, it's not a bug, it's a feature, right guys? Because, our action adventure, our action RPG, our first person or third person, depending on how you want to put the camera, it doesn't need to be 60 FPS, even though at this point in time, barely anybody's playing 30 FPS. It was funny, right? When the PS5 Pro came out and announced that it was going to be $800, nobody was going to give a shit about the console, which is hilarious. I think probably talking about that in the near future about how abysmally that thing is selling. But Mark Cerny, okay, the architect behind the PS5, one of the chief hardware developers over at Sony, made the announcement. It was just a little offhand remark, but it was very telling that like 75% of players, when they're given the option between high fidelity graphics mode or just the simple performance, prioritizing FPS, and it's like, yeah, that's fine. 1080p, that's fine. If that's all the graphics that you can push, that's fine. We just want a smooth gameplay experience. They are 75 to 80% of the time, 4/5 of players are choosing the performance smooth presentation mode. Very interesting. And that was, just a little bit of an aside. And Avowed, it's going to be an Xbox first-person title, right? Or first-party title, confusing all the cameras and that stuff. But regardless, that's going to be, Xbox, Microsoft, the technologically advanced console, and then also being on PC, and you're out here saying, we just need 30 FPS. That's actually what we're aiming for. Like, bro, this is 2024. And your game, it doesn't look that good, okay? We're not talking every NPC has photorealistic pores that you can see if you're going to zoom your camera in, okay? If you're going to be taking a real close look, you can figure out who is and who isn't circumcised. This ain't that game. This game looks like it could have released between KOTOR 2 and Fallout New Vegas. Like, it's not that impressive whatsoever. So if you needed another reason to go ahead and roll your eyes at this eventual disaster coming out, well, here you go. Avowed is an upcoming RPG developed by Obsidian Entertainment that has been the headliner for Xbox marketing for some time now. Because I've been hearing about this game for a very, very, very long time, and even though it's not my jam, I've been interested in it, okay? However, a recent interview that may have caused potential buyers to hold off on purchasing the title. The full interview can be watched on the Iron Lords podcast YouTube channel. Interesting. Which was conducted at Gamescom. Okay, LA, a discussion about the game's potential performance on Xbox consoles, which, even compared to, and I don't know if this is true or not, but the Xbox Series X is actually still at least on par, and it might be even more of a hardware superior than the PS5 Pro. I haven't done an apples to apples comparison because stupid console manufacturers want to go, my teraflops. It's like, what the fuck even is that as a measurement? Nobody in the real world uses that. But like the PS5, when it came out, it was already underperforming and chock full of old ass components. But the Series X, like, nobody knows for sure how well it performs because nobody bought it. Yes, when asked about Avowed's frame rate on the Xbox Series X, specifically its art director Matt Hansen, Interesting how Elon's best boy was out here pimping the game, huh? And he's got these dumb things to say. Said that they targeted 30 frames per second as its main expectation. Bro, barely playable. And at this point in time, like, I can't play a game that's 30 FPS, okay? Maybe my eyes could get accustomed to it, but Final Fantasy VII Rebirth does have the performance, and then it has, you know, the graphics mode, and every once in a while, it was like, I kind of want to see what the 4K version of this looks like. I got the TV for it and all that stuff, so let's just turn it on, and then I just, you know, look at that game, and it's like, no, man, actually the performance mode doesn't look that bad after a couple of patches. So we'll just go back to that one and just have a smooth 60, which the entire game does. But Avowed out here with first-party Microsoft money is targeting 30. Hopefully we can get there. Okay. Hansen then goes on to say that as a first-person single-party experience, Avowed doesn't necessarily need to be 60 FPS as a trade-off for stronger visual effects and lighting. You are so silly. Oh my god, this is the whole my cinematic experience. That's why we need to have it at 30. Shut your yap. Hansen also clarifies that a game's performance is one of the last parts of its development. Yeah, you know, actually making sure that it's optimized, that's fine. We gotta shove in as many pronouns as possible, right, Matt? Right? That's what we're aiming for, to piss off the chuds and Elon Musk, right? Yeah, okay. There may be room for improvement before the game launches in early 2025, but we haven't heard a goddamn thing about that. But we have heard a lot from Matt Hansen, leading to somebody who used to be very integral to Obsidian, Chris Avellone, one of the co-founders of Obsidian, in fact, to come out and, well, to be completely honest, be super based about this stuff. Based on recent reviews, if you were rejected from an art position at Obsidian in the past few years, call a lawyer. Discrimination in hiring, especially for the Microsoft studio, can ensure you don't need to apply for a job ever again. Clearly referencing what good old Matt Hansen was talking about. If you're somebody with a high enough melanin count, my DMs are open because we don't need any more crusty white men in the industry. Hell, you could take my job, take my wife even. I'll be in the corner jacking off. And it shouldn't cost you a cent to initiate legal action. The lawyers will know what the case is worth, and they'll do the heavy lifting. This has nothing to do with my personal politics, but I believe strongly that hiring discrimination for any reason isn't something the industry should tolerate. I hope you agree. And I do, okay? As this was the guy, like, okay, everybody references, you know, I like Obsidian because I liked KOTOR 2, and Fallout New Vegas is the best non-original Fallout game, okay? The best Fallout game to not have interplay attached to it. And it's like, he's the guy. He's not with Obsidian. He left years ago. He's out there taking pot shots at the recent revelations. You'll love to see it. And yeah, Chris Avellone, former Obsidian co-founder and lead developer on games like KOTOR 2 and Fallout New Vegas, with some massive allegations. Director for, yes, Fallout New Vegas and Pillars of Eternity 1 and 2 won't work on Avowed. Interesting, because yeah, there's a bunch of other stuff, because Chris, he's been spilling the tea, if you will. Director responsible for negative culture. Obsidian and BioWare engaged in discriminatory hiring. Oh yeah. Interesting how all of these shitty studios seem to run in similar circles. I honestly never would have thought you would call this out, talking about the discriminatory hiring processes. And then yeah, Chris replies, I had an experience with a BioWare producer who showcased the full extent of the hiring practices, and the story is for another day, but definitely was cause for a lawsuit. Interesting. Very, very interesting. And yeah, it kind of shows you it's like BioWare. I think after I'm done getting through Final Fantasy VII Rebirth's hard mode again, which is, it's going to be a process in and of itself, kind of want to go back and play Mass Effect because it's been a long time, and I got that Legendary Collection. I know it with Fen Third, and they don't show Miranda's butt as much. And censoring Yvonne Strahovski, even, you know, with a digital version of her, is a sin that is unforgivable. I just kind of want to have the quality of life improvements, because I'm pretty sure I still have all the mods from when I, ran through Mass Effect 1 and went through the trilogy. God, that might have been a decade ago at this point in time. It's been a long time. At least 5 years. Actually, shit. Somewhere in between 10 years and 5 years. Time flies when you're not playing good games. But anyways, you think that art director's statements indicate a larger negative culture at the studio. Interesting, just trying to cut through all of this stuff and seeing it's like, how much do you know about Hansen, and what are you willing to say? Was it liked, shared, or retweeted by anyone at the studio, especially an executive or another director? Interesting. Okay, it's so sad. Pillars 1 and 2 were classic. Avowed looks like shovelware. Even the director of Pillars 1 and 2 won't work on Avowed, apparently. Oh, shit. Because, yeah, those are the other big successes, and arguably Obsidian's best original IP work. And Avowed was supposed to be, breaking the mold, okay? It would be something like you would get from Bethesda. It would be something like you would get out of Elder Scrolls, but, Fallout New Vegas version. Skyrim, because you're not going to be getting Elder Scrolls 6 until, Christ almighty, 2030 at this pace. I don't even think I'm being facetious. We might not see it for this decade. And Skyrim dropped, if you recall, 11/11/11. It's wild that it's going to be at least 15 years before E6 comes out. Based on recent reviews, if you were, rejected, and we talked about that one before, but very interesting to see what these actual insiders, not speculators, not scoopers or anything like that, are saying about all the dysfunction. Oh, I've got my inside sources that are out there. No, this is Chris, okay? He founded the studio, for Christ's sakes. He worked on their most successful projects. The reason that the Bethesda acquired them, a big reason why Microsoft acquired ZeniMax and Bethesda. He knows where the bodies are hidden. He knows the ins and outs of the current industry, and there's a reason that he's the one who's on the outside looking in, assessing the damages and going, yeah, told you so. Yeah, Avowed, it's going to be a train wreck. Ooh, it's going to be tough to like this one. We'll be following it every single step of the way. February is a long time away, and I bet you those guys that are working over there at Obsidian very much can feel that it's going to be a long road ahead. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.